Once upon a time, there was a woman named Sarah who had a bright future ahead of her. She was a talented artist, a loving wife, and a devoted mother to her 2 children. However, Sarah had a secret. She was struggling with addiction. It all started when Sarah was prescribed painkillers after a car accident. At first, she took them as directed, but soon she found herself taking more and more to manage her pain. Before she knew it, she was addicted to opioids. At first, Sarah tried to hide her addiction from her family and friends. She was ashamed of herself and didn't want to burden anyone with her problems. But as her addiction progressed, it became impossible to hide. Sarah's husband, John, began to notice that she was acting strange and distant. She was always tired and irritable, and she seemed to have lost interest in everything she used to enjoy. John confronted her, and Sarah finally admitted to her addiction. John was supportive of Sarah and wanted to help her in any way he could. He encouraged her to seek professional help and offered to go with her to therapy. Sarah was hesitant at first, but she eventually agreed. Sarah's journey to recovery was not easy. She faced many challenges along the way, including withdrawal symptoms, cravings, and setbacks. She had to learn how to manage her emotions without using drugs and how to cope with triggers and stressors. Sarah's therapist helped her understand the nature of addiction and how it changes the brain chemistry. She also introduced Sarah to coping mechanisms such as mindfulness meditation and cognitive behavioral therapy. Sarah's recovery was not a straight line. She had her ups and downs, and there were times when she felt like giving up. But with the support of her family and her therapist, she persevered. One of the biggest challenges Sarah faced was her fear of relapse. She was afraid that she would never be able to fully overcome her addiction and that she would always be at risk of falling back into old habits. Sarah's therapist helped her understand that relapse was a normal part of recovery and that setbacks were not a sign of failure. She encouraged Sarah to focus on the progress she had made and not to be too hard on herself. Sarah's recovery also had a positive impact on her family. John and her children were proud of her and grateful to have her back in their lives. Sarah was able to rebuild the trust that had been lost and to rekindle the love and connection that had been missing. As Sarah continued on her journey to recovery, she began to use her experience to help others. She started volunteering at a local addiction treatment center, sharing her story with others and offering support and guidance. Sarah also began to create art again, something she had given up during her addiction. She found that creating art was a therapeutic way to express her emotions and to connect with others. Years went by, and Sarah continued to live a fulfilling life in sobriety. She knew that her addiction would always be a part of her story, but she didn't let it define her. She was proud of who she had become and the resilience she had shown in overcoming her addiction. Sarah's story is a reminder that addiction can happen to anyone and that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. It shows that with the right mindset and support, recovery is possible, and life can be even more fulfilling than before. Sarah's journey was not an easy one, but it was one of courage, perseverance, and hope. She learned that it was okay to ask for help and that recovery was possible with the right support. She hoped that her story would inspire others to seek help and overcome their own struggles with addiction. In the end, Sarah's story is one of hope and resilience. It shows that even in the darkest of times, there is always a way out. It is a reminder that we are all capable of change and that with the right mindset and support, anything is possible.